Look, we had a lot to unpack there, Vincent. Obviously talking about one hell of an offseason for Wildcard here, but let's get into the video a little bit more. The difference here is that LAG, Vagrants, before in this matchup, they banned this nuke. This time they let it through. They banned a Dust 2. That was us questioning whether we're going to see it in the series. They denied that claim, so they challenge on to a nuke that was a labored force versus Party Astronauts earlier in this tournament. So the IGL up to bat early and unfortunately put down by the pull.
Sandman next up, and he doesn't have very much to say about that. Andrew arriving, Mason on the scene, and, well, it's just Mason, unfortunately. He's all alone. Friend has picked up 3, and they're going to run him down. That's Wildcard at a pretty brisk pace, setting the tone. It doesn't necessarily mean, especially with a lag team that I think is, like, knocking on the door of being able to, like, make upsets on, teams that were previously well under Wildcard stature. I just feel like that's still going to be tough.
They're going to be forcing down A here, and these SMGs, they're going to clock in early. They actually pick apart exactly where they were meant to task. Onto 1 kill at a minimum, they do that, but they're not getting much more. Sonic, he's going to be just pouncing Brett back again. And the investment here, or the only last link they can really kind of stand on here, is Andrew maybe trying to reach out of the smoke here and stir the pot. But it was on that Inferno that it was a player like Peeping that really struggled, dude. That's not going to happen twice in a row. This is not a rifle you need to be worried about here. Now it's Wolf in the clutch, and he's not going to be tracking this one down. Friend and Peeping right back to back to get this one done. The new pickups for Wildcard, who's obviously not here with us today, but that's where that, longtime link came to kind of reconnect back on this roster. And kind of, riffing back in the veto conversation, it's the slip up here, man. It's a Dust 2 that I'm not sure what exactly the reason is for it, being a point at which LAG decides to cut it out. And I think we were all kind of seeing in the green room that it's a shaky bound for all across the veto right now here for Wildcard, but especially on that Dust 2. It's been rough for them.
Yeah, I think it's just a matter of, there's a question to answer. It's about comfort. This is a comfortable map still for lag. So, fortunately, mid-round, early 1-for-1 was pretty positive for the CTs. Now, Peeping has removed another one. Great trade. Wolf has been able to collect, and that's Andrew who has his back. Double pushed into lobby, works a treat, and now Friend to JBA. Going to try and correct the record. This is pretty tough considering the positioning as well. Friend has got to be the one to probably make the next move.
Going to find Andrew with his back turned. Once he does reposition, he gets that fight straight up. And at a 2v2, problem here is the time. And Wolf, he's just found JBA sitting in lobby. This will be the first round picked up. The anchor of the A site has got a triple off the back of that.
Yeah, this is the biggest test, no doubt, within my head. The group stage wasn't necessarily full of tests. Brett, I would have thought would have been a freebie, but Friend clearing the same way we saw him do in the previous round, and Brett goes down, and it's Peeping on the other extremity. It's a little bit of a familiar look.
Sandman that fades away on that MP9 while he's tripped up by that flank. Mason, he does have Friend outside here. Andrew potentially with an opportunity. That is a great shot onto Stan. As now Andrew will actually acknowledge a 1v4. Hop back into the A site and hold on to the positioning because there's not many places he can run. The bomb is elsewhere. It will just take another couple of seconds for Wildcard.
He's actually sussed this out. I think he's realized the bomb is down out here. Yeah, that's actually so smart from Andrew. I actually am really impressed. They're trying to play a little bit more aggressively, but on extremities and pretty, I would call it disconnected from each other in more ways. This hot push is a little bit different. There's more details to it. Wolf's going to get exposed. His 1-for-1 is not quite enough.
The crawl out of hut, but it's going to be such a vicious pace into ramp. They're going to be pushing this back. Sonic in that fade has got Brett out of it, but Mason just sniffing at the tail right here, and it's going to be just so far forward. They're not going to be expecting any sort of premature pop on their type of timing. Mason, he might just get caught. Peeping has just got eyes on 3 players, and it's going to take a flying Sandman to just get that all the way gone. Sonic, he puts his bomb down, and a potential problem that can be had here, a Sandman, he does recycle this AK into 1 frag. It's Andrew up for another clutch again, and he just got stuffed out last time. Less to do here, but the bomb halfway ticked, and JBA and Sonic, they slide together like they have been for the last year, and they get this done. It's a 5th on the board for Wildcard. Quite a heated affair as well. They're up to 7 themselves, and you know, this front office will be liking themselves today, right? Some of their moves weren't so terrible. It's just how this thing happened. We can get into the politics at a different time, because right now they're letting their guns walk them all the way out. Where do these 2 kills get found? It's Wolf all the way up through heaven, but it's Mason that's still trying to rake this back outside. I think the positioning is going to suggest for a save, but yeah, I mean,
I wasn't kidding when I said I can't believe that Stan is actually playing, you know, and
right.
Like I said, I think that says a lot about him as a person, and you know,
he loves his teammates.
Yeah, that's really a really positive thing for me. You know, it says a lot, like I said, about Stan. Forward positioning outside, Mason actually grabbing that kill should set Brett up, but Friend, holds the line, catches him off guard, and just a MP9, Brett not.
And now Control going to be mollied out, so they're, you know, waiting for a certain drop about this, but continuing to pull strings here. And Mason, he's going to be the eyes. Stan loses his ears, and that's the only real tag right here to this B site. It's going to be Peeping that now sends his utility set out. They have this double setup right here, waiting for a situation like this, in a slip-up out from LAG. Nothing for Sandman, and it's Wolfie that thought he completed the project before it was even due. This bomb goes down, and still at a good point to retake, the way we can see it, but it's damn intimidating, too.
Well, they've got knowledge that, you know, there is these low HP bars. The problem is that there's no positioning for Lag to get back in. They're so disconnected. They're so external to that bomb site that they have decided it's not worth their time. They're going to hope to grab a couple of exits, and, you know, knowing these HP bars are low, probably going to add a little bit more to that. I would imagine Peeping likely to fall. His knife is out and he's down, but that's a painful round. It felt like the setup was good. Lag were in pretty solid positioning. Even the beginning of that round with, you know, Mason finding an early kill and then Brett being set up to take the next contact. It's a little bit of a tragedy that Friend catches him off guard.
You know, one of the features that LAG have, you know, seen themselves, I think, prompting even against some of North America's best, right? We just had Marsborne in that playoff yesterday. They were shooting hard against a type of project like that, you know, does have a considerable amount of firepower, but I think that's one of the main concerns sort of about that group and, you know, where that comes down. LAG, I mean, you know, we're heads above in conversations like that, and even a, you know, slower game from Sandman. One headshot does connect out to Sonic in the smoke, but, I mean, clearly, it's already Wildcard trying to work back this hammer outside, and Peeping in the same positioning, lurking inside of a door. Doesn't find anything this time around, and JBA, he is not going to give Brett a second chance. 1 second, too long, and he's gone. Wolf and this ramp setup find a lurking Stan, and a 2v4 man advantage.
Singular attempts for Wildcard as they've been winning those duels constantly. Wolf now slides into a better position, but he's been spotted. And so Friend's AK will remove him. There's still technically a chance in this with the bomb in control of the T's.
Andrew is about to run knife out into JBA right now. Gets that kill and turns it into a 2v2. Thankfully, Mason still managing this one. Sandman, he's just being toyed with here. Gonna get him on the ladder after all. JBA can toy with you all day, but at some point, it's just gonna be lift and smashed. Right there, it's bit into pieces. They get 2 picked up from it. Canadian flag, Americans right beside. It's an NA team.
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
Put on my
That's
twang
the
for
biggest
that
disappointment. Is not seeing that happen for real. Stan, just with a pistol, survives the situation though. Sonic, it's out and about. To catch 2 in the process. That's towards Mini. They both go down, both Brett and Andrew. Wolf, off angle here, stands for sure dead. He's not going to be able to collect any more off the back of that. Now Mason joins Sandman. This duo can be so good. It's a surprise, though, that Peeping is still in door.
Rightly timed nade, but the perfect chance to actually pounce. It is a opportunity you won't get back onto that first peek to door, and Peeping just toying with you all the way around, telling his new opper to just stay still, let him do the stepping. It's Wildcard. They're going to take that confidently.
You know, a lot of respect for a guy like Stan if he has, you know, a little bit more time to play with this, even if it's only temporary.
Good line up here. Mason doing half the job as Sonic 2. It's a little bit more coverage, and he's got a bit of backup, but they're seeing through this. That player just went down with a completely different gun. Brett connects onto Sonic and finds that trade. They're trying to keep him on the hook here. Yeah, Peeping is, I mean, completely working alone right now, lurking in lobby here on this nuke, and let's see what he can do separated from the pack. He's going to be trying to get this contact. It's all around Nitro Wall, and he does find Sandman, so he can feel that there may be another member here. Wolf did audibly drop into the back of this bomb site, and that's exactly the same sound he will make as he is going to find the floor one more time. Brett rotates in with just about 30 HP. And a smoke that's going to be so scary, but one of those could potentially find Friend. Not so lucky after all.
Makes it interesting. Turns the round on its head. Double entry towards A. Friend covers the push back through and into the site. That is a recovery of that round for Wildcard. Seems like it doesn't matter how things start.
Winning 3 LAN tournaments myself, and, you know, the first of which, I mean, you were talking about his time playing with Snav on Timberman, Badass Gaming, whatever it is. I mean, you even had that kind of asterisk for it. He was never kind of in his native roles there, was still putting up just stupid ratings all the time. I mean, kind of hard to take the entries out of Dare in Snav, but right there, he's going to be sending it through anyway. Sandman up top. He gets that, and what a response here from LAG. It's at the end of the half. We don't count out this young man. Came out here, and he's got all the doubts on his head. He's just here to play Counter-Strike, baby. And the pull staring right at the vent. He's got it done. A 1v3 out here for Friend. He is no damn of it. The LAG side, they're going to be resenting everything that he's bringing out here. Lucy's been busy after. Iberian Soul, 9, I believe, playing for even one more group. I was looking at his Liquipedia yesterday, carbon dating exactly what had been going on. He's been busy. Obviously, Martinez helps out the Spaniards all the way back, and now Fozy may be out of a sub job, out of his Wildcard job, and left, and you saw the 1v3 that was put out in the end, so maybe you don't have to worry about who is keeping that scope, especially who's got Stan's back, because there's a friend to help him out and give him that pat. Stan sees him around the wall. He must have been hearing what we were saying around that halftime. Homeboy's got a triple ripping into the second half. Great stuff from the in-game leader. Player break wasn't too long ago either. But
I mean, he got cut right as it started, didn't he? So
yeah, a little bit unlucky. Chasing him down for it. He's Peeping. That is going to be just full throttle right now, having to go with all 24 bullets of his A1S. Can actually get him all the way choked out. Going to be these fights back down, and it's direct, straight to their front door on these Tech 9s. Can't take these all the way and actually be proud without finding the next head, which, I mean, you were threatened by Sonic. You're Stan. He's fully activated, and he's the one that's going to have to do the most right now as he's providing pressure to control. Even if both kills are had by the South African, you're going to have to give the credit where it's due to the architect, to this young man who actually puts through to the defuse. A 12th here for Wildcard. Apparently, Zwei was denied from Spirit Academy at one point. I didn't know that. Now he's brought back. So it turns out you don't need to be on the Academy. You can be on Wildcard Academy instead. Here comes a nice move, and Mason with a double himself. He's going to be trying to track this up. Here's that scope finally ringing in. A little bit short of that second all the way down, but these riflers, they came to pound. They are right here, and Peeping, he's on that same vein. One away from a 20th himself, but that may have to come in the next. Probably will be a save here for Peeping and Friend.
Elongating a match that is set in stone, or at least Nuke is, for me.
Friend might catch one all out on the fadeaway as LAG pack in another round, but, you know, maybe we can touch on exactly the reason that Stan came back, you know? We didn't actually ask him, you know, we didn't interview him and get this response, but Stan is a guy that cares about North America. He's a guy that cares about the game. And obviously when, Sus was really not interested in partaking in this any longer, giving a chance and, taking the, probably very rare opportunity to actually go ahead and get a familiarized player with a lot of experience like Wolf, right? But I mean, even Wreckmeister, a new name being like tested, I can't remember really where it was like him playing in advance 2 seasons ago and where you had a group like that being turned around previously. I mean, it's a little example, but when we don't have a lot of them, I think we have to appreciate what's around.
Hey, things are going a little bit interestingly here on this USP round.
Yeah, what am I yapping about?
Sonic has just grabbed a USP kill. He's then recovered an AK and grabbed a kill with that. Peeping started this equation, and there's 3 players here. This AK's in a perfect place. Wolf is going to take 2. That certainly helps. Sonic can still be the difference maker, but
Sheesh.
Wolf is taking it on to his own shoulders and said, it's all good. But it might not be.
Coldest as the closer and trying to sneak away. Friend, I wouldn't say just one. He's like 2 to 3 steps ahead of this right now. The Bull stares down at the heaven rotation that just gets past him. And he won't last very much longer because it is Wolf who is still yelping in back to this nuke. He's got a 4K out here, and they're keeping this LAG heart beating. They know where this has to be. We've seen this a million times. A wild card. They aren't going to be tricked here now. He's posted all the way at clock. JBA, he's waiting for his turn as well. Turn the page, and all you are going to see is that next stage. It is going to be fully red and fully engulfed by a wild card. Here on their map pick, it's nuke sweeped off at the end after a little bit of an energy burst out from LAG.
I mean, a valiant effort, I think, for Lag. That's kind of the only way that I could place this one.
May think that this could be Wildcard's second map pick in this series. Essentially, it is. This is home turf for Stan and the boys. Been one of their favorites even since the Forsaken iterations here. And it's been common ground between where these squads have met before and the closer of the two. So this is where LAG picks again. This is their challenge. But right here, it's Wildcard trying to chase it down. That is in character within that range. It's vicious, and they're trying to keep the tone where it's at.
Yeah, they make a statement by sprinting down mid with 2 players on the pistol, and, they still have forward positions. This isn't over, per se. Might be caught there, jumping up onto the balcony. Yeah, JB is. And there's more where that came from. Sandman collects them both. Push down Banana is unsuccessful. And now Stan, he's got no troops to coordinate. He's just got to do it on his own.
Did it on his own practically in that CT pistol. They were all chasing him down J-Hall when he got a 3K. But it would have to find that positioning, that type of timing, that type of opportunity. And nobody is really seeing into him on A here. I think he might be, peering it down middle. Just saw him stopped up at the bracket, and one gush, and then Mason will finish the job. It is LAG that kicked down the door first here on this Inferno, starting off the way that they want.
Wildcard not going to let up. Like I said, very aggressive last round. They pull back and force buy. 4 strong here at B is crazy.
Oh. Mr. Cornwell unfortunately slipped up by the nade. Mason right by. He's got a second on that SMG, and they actually hit back hard. It's Friend that is still alive at this point. Already 2 casualties. They can go down with this and carry along maybe with one more they can desire, as JBA is right around this corner where they're just trying to pressure point this in and try and tiptoe. A Molotov that's not going to cut off his vision, but that is going to be the call by Brett. He doubles down, and now it's JBA who tries to do the same thing through the smoke. With this type of timing, just has to connect the shots, and almost does onto Andrew on the 12 HP. LAG, they got this triple B play now sprinting back. Stan and the boys have done all they have to get this control. Mason caught on that crawl. Friend, he's going to have to sprawl out for another. Can see a shadow, but it's Andrew that will gauge. And now with a little bit of room to maneuver and just seeing Stan do exactly that, he's going to have to survive here, but can only stand for a moment's notice at this 2v2. It's peeping right place, right time, and same damn time for Sonic. He gets that through the smoke and brings it to a 1v1. Wildcard even up every situation just barely.
Andrew's gone to the Tech 9. He's not elected to pick up an AK that was just on the ground. He's got the bomb, but these smokes complicate matters. Sonic has made a decisive move. Instead of trying to wait that out, he has pushed through porch and now gone into the apartments, but Sonic is unfortunately going to find an empty A bomb site. Andrew's called a bluff. He's walked through the smoke and he's found nothing on the other side. So B is precisely where he will be finding himself, and even better,
the moment, the feeling of just waiting for the anticipation on Andrew. It's Sonic, a devil on the other side of your screen. How do you connect? It's by facing him straight up. Nothing fears the man that has nothing to lose. It's Andrew that is subbed in here for Life's a Game.
From that point on, Brett is directing traffic, send him straight out, walk straight out the apartment onto balcony, and find a double setup with porch that's a little easier to break open.
Sonic burning into Brett right here.
Gotta get moving though. Lagger taking a lot of time here. Maybe too much time. Cavalry's arrived.
Lightning peeping. Turns it out he was not just all alone. They got this rotation here in time, and it's Stan that is knowing that he just has to buy just that. A couple more seconds here for Wildcard if they're to actually really put a dash about this and take advantage of what has been seen. There's just something not happening here. And unfortunately, with these updates, there are always things that find themselves out. I'm wrong. They actually recovered the bomb somehow, some way. They do it. But all that time in searching for it really went wrong. Not sure what exactly happened there, but LAG, they lose track of the bomb, whether purposeful or not. They lose a lot of time in tracking it down. Stanislaw and his boys get on the board first on Inferno. Yeah, yesterday in Marsborne in Chicken Coop, excuse me, I'm AD in Chicken Coop. It was the Coop that did lose the bomb in alt middle on this very map on their T side because they were tossing it around. Recommendation for those of you device managers to keep that thing on your back. Threat that falls, and unfortunately the bomb has a new home. It's actually exchanged through
Trio survive, and they're hoping that they're going to be given a freebie here at B, but that seems unlikely. It's going to be on the entry prowess as Mason goes down. That was the other side of this attack. Unfortunately, he couldn't really be the first to make contact. This is all over. Andrew can hope to save. He's going to start running him down maybe, but
exactly what's gonna happen. He'll be on his tail.
Did they catch him after?
Get that shot off.
Did.
It might have been right after. Yeah, look at that.
$700. They can't go A right this moment. They have to test B a little bit. And
they're staring down Banana. Gotta go ahead and hit it up straight to the Pulse front door, and they practically are. Right now, there's gonna be no soliciting at this B site. A smoke that's gonna hold them off for a couple moments longer. And they have no other choice but to bounce back to A, and the bomb is headed in that direction. Could this awkwardly work out here with the positioning from Brett? Peeping would have to just go and clear this inch further, but he doesn't, and he is going to be punished for it. A player on top of the gold box will continue to just go ahead and crawl. It's JBA that will stall out the entire A hit, and he will make them a quit. A quad kill for JBA as he is going to make them pay to a tied game. That is one hell of a toll.
But they did just enough, and Brett found the gap, the opening. It was all there, but JBA just knocks them down one by one as he trades every single teammate on the site and gets more.
Dan, you can pull up and use that A for two magnificence, almost a third. Tech9 will clean up right here on this part momentarily. Man doing things that shouldn't be allowed to. He's out here with too much room and about to disrespect all the way out. Got taught a damn good lesson last time not to mess with Joshua Barut because we learned that he can shoot. He's on down with nothing, though. And Sandman barely breathing on 1 HP, gets the bomb down. He's about to be taken out in a 2v2. Sonic and peeping just right around this corner, and they're going to try to separate right here to Andrew. He has done the heavy lifting previously, but now he has just boxed out this fight, and Will should have the positioning for this. Sonic tries to hop up, but that's a little bit too quick. LAG, they're playing their own rules right now to a 5th round.
Sandman connects. I talked about Sandman and Mason, a duo that often is forward facing towards Banana. Well, they've been locked out there pretty often. Now they go back to that. The idea that 4 kills from Sandman can turn the tide. He now wants more.
Find the A anchor first. Getting aggro. Keeping one and then done. B site, red carpet laid out. But that is an issue. There's no way they're going to be expecting it to be this gone, this far. And Stan, lying in the cut, will just stand up when they least expect it. But this may be even worse. Andrew caught, and they are just dropped onto the ramp. And his wild card starting to ramp up. They've got 2 all the way back in these last 3 that have gone to a crazy member.
Without that extra utility, though, that becomes very difficult.
5 rounds, good measure here, but let's see if LAG can make it a little bit sweeter. That is not the start that you desire. It is for, in terms of the numbers, I mean, it's JBA that, meets out, but they're about to be up to this process quickly to go. And the other player that's going to be right here is so little HP equipped. Mason has to find this, and this round thrown immediately onto its head. It was LAG that stuck to the strat there, but look at this timing. Stan!
No! On your screen!
What's going on right here? It's Brett, he's caught. JBA drops him. Stan, unfortunately, is missing a couple as they pass into the site. I know he's had some time off, but sheesh, my man. Obviously, we've seen Wildcard take a big one today, right? That first map was like the best map of Counter-Strike that they played in about a month's time. So, I mean, when they're back here, they're going to bring it on them all. They were looking forward to this tournament specifically, these qualifiers, to bring their best, and they're bringing it to brackets right here. And it's going to have to be Mason to try and recover a couple of shots right now, because the point at which this stands is just too much to manage on this A site. But the way at which he moves, he's so quick to the plate.
Yeah.
They're going to beat this timing right now. And Stan, at least he's going to be able to communicate this. Jackson takes a fight, but Cornwell can't land the shot. He has to go ahead and do this back at the pit, and it will be Sonic to help him out. They get this all the way down. It's another pistol that they are going to be picking up in this series.
You know, maybe slight pinch of salt on that.
Dude, sometimes we got
not a first party source.
We got to reach. But it's worth acknowledging where that does come from. We appreciate it. Mason fading away. Can't find that second shot, but the fire finds him. A hard knock life.
His body went flying. He went jumping into the air as he died. That's crazy.
Creeping on B. Bye. How do you do? Brett with the USB. Oh! What the hell? Brett with the triple. This man looking like 007, the Golden Eye, puts out the USP, and he's tapping along to these heads. What a shot he's got on this. All the way through the door here. Does, and gonna be all the way on this site. All Sandman has to do is hide. Keeping. Gonna be caught off guard, and I don't know what I've just seen. Brett the Magician. Brett takes this into his own hands. What? Why? 3 out of that?
Combo around immediately off the back of that one. That could be the game changer for Lag.
I don't think they're going to have a better ticket than this. The second half, they're not going to have many opportunities here on the CT side. It just gets harder. Peeping on this type of play. He's not finding a pit player, and maybe deeper into lane. That's why he's about to swing it again, and confirmation, giving this young man even a little bit of room, is going to result in a deadly damn rhythm. Here, Wildcard are going to be slapping LAG back into place, which is right behind, as they just walk their way to double digits.
Yeah, I was, kind of hoping and maybe trying to speak into reality the potential for the start of the comeback, the recovery for Lag off the back of that Brett round, but unfortunately, I think reality hits a brick wall, and that is the form of Wildcard.
The suits. Well, I'm sure
5v5?
good people over at Wildcard, but unfortunately, got to be able to make
Good
these
people
right
make
decisions.
some bad decisions.
Absolutely. I mean, it's well placed. Got to be able to run the unit how you want, and unfortunately, this not going to plan either. This B site hit right out of a smoke like that. Andrew, he's going to flick all the way up to it. LAG, they're going to try and live fully through the second half, and they've got 7 rounds here. Yo, the Caster Legion. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. I think we can find a spot for you on that one. I think I would be on that team, to be
no hard
honest.
feelings.
You might be on on the main team, on the main roster.
Yo, this guy's blowing smoke over here to me. You guys need to calm him down. My playing days are over. I'm here to yap. Brett, he's here to get this down in a setup with Sandman that is going to stand. That is a really big play from Wolf right there. Just the inkling did get involved and just finish out everything that they had, instinctually getting involved in lane. A really good effort right here. And unless JBA has a 1 versus 3, which I don't think we're ever counting out any of these players right here, being the fact at which they're walking them along, and I think LAG, they have to kind of lock into that mentality to not take any fight in this situation lightly. Mason getting engaged right out here by one of NA's best, just playing ring around the rosy at default, and Mason with the pocket full of it. He goes down in a 1v1, 100 versus the single digit of HP that JBA has.
Andrew's got the full kit of utility. He's got everything he could want. 1 bullet, 1 nade. Hit him with a flash. That'll be enough. It's a lot of damage that JBA does, but it's not enough health that he's got left. Andrew in a 1v1 clutch roll.
You're right. It's been this CT side bring this offense to a halt and really weaving some good CS on the way through, slipping up on, you know, JBA taking some aggressive fights. Here, it's aggressive fights taken, and Mason with too many targets to choose from drops, and he's the first body that's going to be caught out here by LAG. Saving 7 seconds and just standing course. They're getting prepared. They are going to brace for impact here as the hit comes through, and it's Brett that will construe back into setup. He wants the second hint, and it's Sandman that will make them sit. At least the second player right there. They threw their cards up and showed their hand maybe just a little bit too soon, but it was a bold choice they had to make. Nade that almost finds the back of JBA, but all the way waiting for this. Wolf usually does his best work alone. Is going to have to right now because he's separated out here from Andrew, who takes a dink up from JBA, but it's still alive. Molotov going to go right onto peeping here, and Wolf, he is looking at that positioning. He's got to finish the job, and he just barely does it. Running back up with half this bomb to tick on an opportunity, and with this tap, he's gonna gauge friend to peek in, who just has to play all the way down. Wolf, he needs one more crawl, he needs one more try, and Wolf, we have just barely enough, maybe short by half a millisecond. We will see. LAG, they are denied, and it's Wildcard that survive.
That's so close. Literally 0.1 seconds. That's what they were looking for.
Wildcard on a nice edge from that round are able to cut through. Bell saving them. Sandman teed up. They're going to be seeing this, playing anti-flash all the way on is JBA, who returns it to a 4 versus 4. I wonder what the protocol is here.
It looked like maybe they wanted to look to push forward, but I love this re-aggression from Lag. They just step in, get Andrew at the tip of the spear. Maybe you can hear JBA start to sprint away at the very end. It's close. And in fact, it's certain now. The speed with which Mason is walking this down, he's actually made a noise. Had to have made a noise.
They're going
That's
B.
A huge mistake from Mason. He pulls the plug early and starts running, and that's what gives Wildcard all the info they could ever need.
AWP up top. Doesn't even have to drop a shot. Boy, you were seeing that sprint all the way with the bomb in the back, headed the way over to B, but they've reconsidered. It's a double setup in lane right now, and it's whenever they will see it onto the course. This op is headed back the direction here. Brett gonna have to be pristine and only for 1. Stan has a huge trade. Wolf right now left on an island. He's gonna avoid this Molotov. It's Andrew that checks in first. Wolf now, he goes to the second level. He just has to go deeper in this fold, and it's Wolf that goes 0 to hero, straight up with the double. He saves Wildcard all the way down. They're keeping a fine line right now. Smoke that goes deep towards Moto. How does Andrew decide to sit? Stands confidently, but now we'll just have to gauge away. This has an option on it. Do they go with the pass? They absolutely do. They're ignoring the run on this option. They're going to be sprinting into CT, and this is just what they wanted. Out here, Mason, desperate, needs to hit this second shot, but cannot. There is one last man that can. It's Sandman, a guy that we put in the limelight for all the right reasons, for his potential, and they're potentially lining up. He gets one, but he doesn't find the info on the other 2.
They slipped the gap. They've also lost the big op there. Friend broke open, got the deagle shot, and had the follow-up joining him is Wolf from A. Sandman gonna have reinforcements momentarily, and it's Sandman who might not even need those, might not require them, all on his lonesome. He needs 3 at minimum, and he takes all 4. Sandman saves the day for Lag.
Going right back into the court of Sandman. Mason up top towards first orange. He's going to be plucked out of his position. There's nothing sprinting through this smoke. Reaction that now will be gained by Sandman. Puts down a Molotov. Mason, he's going to have to put down a defense right next to Brett, who finds one through the smoke. Mason, he has to stand alive right now. Stands so solidly at New Box that there's too much pressure here, and he's going to have to rise. Brett, he's going to be out in surprise. It's going to be out in a man advantage to Wildcard, the team that were doubted here outside of B. But right now, Wolf and Andrew, they rotate in one more time, and they've got a full belt and full health.
And it's the opposite for Wildcard. They've got no utility, no nothing left.
I know they're being pinned here.
Have an idea, an inkling. That's the barrel of the gun spotted by Wolf. He knows that there's someone sitting at pillar, but does he know that there's a second man back behind there? Now his position clearly given. It's Lag. We don't have to make a move, but they move anyway. Wildcard, the one that time is on their shoulders. They got to go. Peepee will plant the bomb.
Seems like overtime inevitable here. Andrew filled in for this roster when they needed him.
This nade.
This may be too much to ask of the super sub. Separates 2 of the flashiest in North America. 2 of the most wanted. He has a flick opportunity. So damn close, but too far away from taking this in regulation.
The CT smoke and a little bit of spam, but no contact made, no nothing. Andrew, it's all placed in his hands.
15 seconds. You got to hit these shots. It all comes down to this. Thankfully, they have this crawl on its wit's end. They haven't found Wolf here at the back of the site, but now they see this through, even with a couple ticking on this clock. It'll be Brett, that tries to spam through. Can't exactly land the kill or really even a point of damage here. LAG, they're going to give this one a fair measure because it is at a 3v3. They're taking this step by step and clearing out the apartments as Mason is going to be the one to track this behind. Brett, he's going to cause a hell of a ruckus. One distraction right now as Sandman finds Sonic, and this bomb is just getting under halfway tick. They're going to have to clear out this bomb site the same way that they found their way out of it, and they get this down. Mason onto the bomb, and the first round of overtime goes the way of life's a game. The blueprints to it all had a little bit of time to make up for, so they sprinted it. Trying to open up this nade, it doesn't exactly provide the gust that they want. Andrew taking an adventure out here into apartments, looking for some new real estate, has found some. It's peeping. It goes away with this opening kill. Now it's a little bit of an undercut smoke and potentially a way at which they can find this into a different route. Brett would have to get back to the B call. Stan clears out that little corner, and now he will sit here as a lurker. He finds an investigating in-game leader. You can understand moments like that. He wanted the answers himself, and Brett had to find them. All here to Wolf alone. He was in the same position last time. He got one, and then he was done. Deja vu. 5 seconds sprinting in this site. No time for the smoke to get down now. It is friend chased all the way out, and there is no time to clutch for the pull because he is immediately drawn down. 2 in a row here into overtime. LAG, they stand with a man up right here. They can't believe this feeling. An opening to potentially find all 3 in a row in this CT side. That's what they sit with.
It's basically everyone who's just taken a step back here for Wildcard, like across the board, nobody having success. Now 3v5, they sprint into A, it's 2 in defense.
Dan with the opener, peeping. He's gonna have to commit to this by hopping up, and he's gonna find a shot onto Wolf. Every time been boxed out in these A scenarios, 3 times in a row in overtime. Gotta finish it right here. Stand to put in the digits. But look who walks up into lane. It's going to be this AWP, and every single member of LAG separated. Peeping finds that frag, and now that could be the way this thing is leaning all the way in that red and blue. Andrew walking up right here, and he's got Sandman on the other side who's making himself known. He's not swaying away any attention. He needs more right here, and Andrew only going to get 1. They don't get 3 in a row. It's not perfect. They get 1 boxing out here. Wildcard reminds you that you're not going to have a field day, not on their home turf. flashing themselves into brackets. It's LAG with their first play, their first snap in overtime on this down. It's going to be JBA that is going to try and read what is exactly happening in the backfield. It's Stan that goes down. In this case, it's Wolf that finds a little bit of revenge for how some of those pit fights went. LAG, they're going to dig their heels in right now because you know what this could potentially be? Could potentially get 15 right here. That's why Peeping knows he has to activate and does. Doesn't mean he has to just blindly and boldly commit right now. His life means the world. If you are to keep this one into an even stance, it's going to have to be all to the newest man in the server. And he almost finds Sandman right here. But Sandman maybe just on another level than anybody else.
Are they just going on this?
They might. Why wait for the perfect opportunity? Because then it will never start. You may just not be ready to go. Brett flying, and it's Sonic dying, and this may be the final stitch. LAG, they go out, and they absolutely are honoring everything. Everything you need to acknowledge here is them standing to the test, having the will to pull this back, and they got to be able to finish it strong. They have a big defense that's going to be bombing back in their direction right here. As life's a game, 6-10 right now is going to try and complete their comeback. And in overtime, that wildcard force. They're bullied. They're backed up in the backhaul. And now this is it. A 2 versus 3 that JBA is going to equip, hopefully for no heroic efforts, but it's the Hail Mary denied. And there is Uno left in this series. It's LAG that draw this 1-1.
I mean, it's an incredible comeback story. 6 rounds to 10.
Did I exactly expect to be showing my ticket? Did I exactly expect to be hopping on these tracks? Well, we're here. It's this train. It's a best of one, practically, we have between Wildcard on LAG's turf, practically. It's like they get 2 map picks in this thing, Vincent. They couldn't be happier about where this third map shows up.
No, they couldn't. And they got some good positioning here, too. Arriving on the scene, Brett grabs his, and they still haven't figured out that there's someone upper. Wolf is still here. Wolf is still hanging. And Brett's still alive, finally down. But this one's all up to Stan. And he's so far out.
Walks this all around. LAG, they quickly construe. And this is where you're going to be able to see, I think, the very best of LAG. Saw this train a couple of times in the groups. And I think saw the strength of the rifling group outside. This is the very best map for Wolf.
Sandman might have been the reason that Lag were really in that game, that they had a chance to pull that back, but the fact is, they gotta step up. Overall, Brett! Actually, Sandman gets both of them. How? How is that possible?
And Brett behind JBA right now. Brett behind JBA. He's gonna just get this here and hops up to Olaf. This trade catches up to him eventually. But it's Wildcard that drive a hard bargain out of the smoke, and nobody is buying what they are selling, especially not Sandman. Especially not right now.
He was blind for those, and it was through the smoke. Just by the way, FYI. Ridiculous, that round. You know, we talk about, Brett and his forward positioning. I think this is another one of those maps for Brett where I was going to say Sandman is the reason that Lag were in that map, but I tell you this, Friend is the one who needs to be very different than what he was on Inferno. He sat at 14 kills for basically the whole second half and the whole overtime period. He was non-existent on the T side. And that is crazy to say that Andrew gapped him heavily.
They're sprinting this down and at a concerning speed that has caught 2 players off guard. Andrew and his AUG, they rhyme in for a single bit. And that's an interesting middle ground. I don't know if Andrew's kind of seeing in away from the AWP here, but the scope's working out. He's got a couple off it on that range. No, not like this. Mason, he's going to get clipped. He's going to get tripped. And right here, it better not come at an easy stance. JBA and Peeping, they were signed for rounds like this. Rounds where they can just show how reckless they can be. And they pick up the first for Wildcard. Brett has got all the way into T-Con right here. Friend.
Oh, he might push
up,
that.
Trying to find something at hell. It's that scope that he is potentially hearing above his head. You're right. Not to see if I'm seeing the investigation on it so quickly. Brett trying to stay in the pacing. Might find a double here. Friend quickly adjusts. And right now it's Mason trying to keep pace as well. They have some good positioning right here, especially with Wolf being at the back of this bomb.
a little bit concerning. JBA continues to push forward. He continues to find space. This Wolf now understands that this gap has occurred, but this is about to run into big problems. And as he sees the bomb, that's going to give Wolf an indicator, but at a heavy cost.
Yeah, JBA here finished it outside of Icon onto the AUG at back red. He walks out from the exact same position, and he gets another transition to an end of round. It's all the way up on the board. Maybe this tiptoe out down below. It's going to be a double aggression from Mason and from Brett. They're going to have to find these players, nades in their hands, and Sonic may just line up in course with Friend. They get the fortunate point of that, but how much further do they send it? It's Mason that does only get a single, but right here, they put it into such a better scenario. I mean, it's 2v3 right now, at a point at which you can really manage.
Well, Friend's already putting together a far better performance than we saw back on Inferno. Refrag after refrag in this one, as he found that opener as well. New box upper is not exactly sturdy cover, as he found out the hard way. Andrew spotted and removed. It is open doors at the Bravo base. We'll see what Sandman can do, but I'm going to be honest, Mark, this is a long way without any utility, with really not much to speak of. He's not got a kit. One might be down up here in Pop.
See if Sandman can catch Friend slipping. An adjustment out from the young pull, and he'll get back into his box as well. A 4K.
Andrew gonna take that top step forward. He's got the big green.
5 in a row. And this wound yet to be patched. But right now, they got one hell of a band-aid. But I gotta hope this one's gonna stick. It's a freebie for Brett and Mason. He's gonna be killing everything in sight into his crosshair until Peeping says goodnight. He found like a gap of solace in that Molotov, and I think he was even surprised. A really good response there by LAG, and one that might get the blood pumping.
It maneuvered around those setups, but more that Lag let him have it. Then they push and pull. It's like a tide. They go back and they look for more. Brett sees nothing home. Now Andrew holds the line. That's great work, and you can see it cost him, right? Peeping and Stan take a lot of damage for that.
Tiptoeing. He can tat right out of T-Con. Brett's on the other side of this coin. He's about to see a shoulder, and Sandman is going to take a headshot. How much more can they go ahead and steal right off the peel? It's served on a silver platter to the in-game leader of LAG. 40 and ticking. Wolf going to be aware that he's out of spot. They're going out Pop here. Surprise on this A play, but they just may be turning this ship around. Andrew, he's going to be reading this well. It was just one kill, and they couldn't tell. Mason, he's net Sonic in the basket, but can he put a second in the casket? They've doubled up on that line for LAG. Friend holding this into Z. Sandman with a little bit of room to breathe is now just busted out. What a great turnaround there. Thought Wildcard were doing a little bit too much to be exact, but they recover any way they want it. He wants to try and catch Wolf here if he decides to go long range. Wolf, he's going to be just close and personal and has to kind of turn toe and dive because it is a big jive so quickly all the way up into the brown halls. It's Wildcard. They want to dash their way to a 7th, that they're going to be going right out into B. Mason, he's found one on this, but it's Wolf that's found out with nothing. They knew that this anchor was going to be worth something, so that's why they were targeting him. But guess what? It is everybody else you had to be worried about alongside. They were tunnel visioned in on finding the anchor, and in that they have slipped up. But Sonic, he drops through. It is noise made, and Brett, he's right above him, and he brings it back to a tide. We're 6-all through 12 here on Train. Our third map just gets richer. But they may read this well, because, I mean, this is what they just considered over on that wildcard side, yet they may get busted for this. It's only 2 players here left on A. Friend! He's right here, and Sonic has got a third. Oh my goodness, this has just ran into a final front door, locked and slammed in the face. The second half is draped with red and blue. Wildcard are here to just challenge you.
You know, Friend was alone, for all intents and purposes, on that A site, and he hit stunner after stunner. One tap after another.
What? Snap of the wrist. It's Brett on that Tech 9, and he will hit his, get a second as well. Thought it was a flash. All it was in the pan. It is insane out of this man himself.
It's not even really required yet any support in the second half. Guns come out. Brett with a couple.
Peeping opener. I was trying to maintain this space. You know, when I envision peeping on Wildcard, it's playing spots like this. In front of your face at E-Box, and it's showing you exactly why he was the next up in North America to take a contract like that. That's smooth as butter. Brett burning, and now his Sonic that turns over another one of these tables. It's a third that finds the way of Wildcard in these first 45 seconds.
Tested and passed with flying colors. Carter in the green.
Wolfie dropped down to the red and further. Andrew all left alone. At least can square up Sonic. This thing just keeps headed south. And an impending distance. Andrew sprinting in. 3 crosshairs on the other side. Meets a duo of Stan and JBA marking on it. But you got to execute in the next 10 if you want a timing here on this B site. It may pivot elsewhere. Stan going to go on his investigation. He looks through the glass, and right now going to see Wolf on a swing. Mason, he's there to try and clean things up. They still have Sonic here in the bomb site as well, so now you have separated this pack, drained it from 4 down to 2, and this is a rough standstill that you need to be at, friend, considering the impossible here, but that's why we like him.
He'll go. Head up B, JBA the first to swing, but he doesn't need to. Or maybe he does. Misses the mark, and now Friend's got the only line that matters.
Didn't put his finger down on Andrew, but will slam on the Sandman. And now he will get the same treatment after all. Just had to wait a couple more seconds. The patience pays off. Stan communicates that there could be a bit of a crawl here in the back lines. Stan whips back and forth. He better not get timing right now. Brett could find this before you actually find him off guard, and at that point it's too late. Friend here gonna have to hit a couple of quick scopes. This could be LAG finding to the ropes. I mean, practically when it could be too late. It's Pop that is just gonna be dropped out here as Sonic collects a triple. He wants to make sure that this is it. Andrew gets a double, continuing to pull across these tracks with a little bit of solace, a little bit of something. It finishes with the triple here to find 7. Still LAG kicking on this train. A really good exclamation point on their run in Thunderpick. Obviously, you know, win or lose, it would be wild considering the win, but the way it's facing, not looking too great. But Andrew continues to bake himself. He's cooking into this A site. Sonic, he almost had 3 reasons last time to put you out of belief, but he is wiped. Now this could be a little bit more by LAG. Friend trying to find a couple of these threats outside of the smoke. Gets Wolf on this back end, and it's Wolf that's also kind of continued to struggle here. A point of weakness, but now it is a crack that they see, and it is JBA that won't be able to fully throttle into it. It is a good point to stand. LAG, they got 2 in a row kicking for them now.
Great on the up on the CT side. That's the Andrew we didn't see for Lag last time, but his rifles there break open A. Let Lag stay strong.
Boxing out. They're just continuing to throw hands. And right here, peeping. It's going to get a second actually on the FAMAS. Impressive stuff considering you may just get lucky after all. LAG, they put 3 in a row at the end of this train. It may be stopping here. It's one final halt. JBA, contact made here into Z. Right now, it's about picking your poison or about confidently picking your path. JBA may be able to box out Andrew here, and does. Wolf all alone here. And after such efforts, gracious through the groups, but caught in the end. 3 maps in Wildcard. They put out the risk. They put out the hope from LAG. They will be the first into our second semifinal here, waiting for a result from Aether.